Do my best. Hello, everyone. Tina Hogan Grant here with my regular Cuppa A Natter that I do twice a month on a Monday. I like to bring authors into my home and we talk about books, writing, whatever we're working on, and life as an author. And tonight, Iuliana Foos is joining me. And where are you joining us from? I got it right.
Right. I'm joining you from Venice, Florida.
Venice. Oh, Florida is beautiful.
It's very nice, very hot. Love it. The
The only
hottest
part of
one.
Florida I've been to Orlando.
Okay, that's about
And
2.5 to 3 hours away or so.
how far away?
2.5 to 3 hours
Oh, it's not too bad. And I've been to Miami
on
too.
the Gulf Coast. So I'm 2.5 or so hours south of Tampa.
Okay, I've never been to Tampa, but
At
Florida
the
is just beautiful. What I saw of it.
of Fort Myers. So
Okay, and you're originally from Romania.
I'm originally from Bucharest, Romania. Yes, I
Well,
was born.
how long have you been in the U.S.?
Pardon me.
How long have you been in the U.S.?
In the US, I moved 2011, but I left Romania in 1997 and I lived all those 13, 14 years in Toronto, Canada.
Oh, okay. So what brought
Yes,
you?
citizen, actually.
What brought you out west?
Well, the whole situation in Romania, I guess, like everybody knows, in 1989 was the revolution. We
Hmm.
checked out the communism and Ceausescu regime and all that. And we stayed around for another, what, 9 years, 8 years, hoping things will change, get better. Unfortunately, they didn't really, so we just immigrated. We said, that's it. I'm not gonna stay here. We
And here
wasted
you
our
are. And here
money.
you are. But it seems like it was a great move. You're an author of how many books?
Nine on my own name, and for the 10th one, I'm in an anthology. Is a charity anthology for the children of Ukraine. It's called Stand for Ukraine, and I have a short story in there.
That's wonderful. And all the proceeds go to Ukraine?
They're all going, everything, all the proceeds, all the sales, everything goes to the children of Ukraine. Is a charity that we are about 100 authors in that anthology. They're like 1900 pages.
Wow. That's a big,
Big one.
that is a big one. What a great cause and what a great honor to be a part of it. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, I
Now,
feel good about it. Yeah.
I understand. What genre do you write?
Um, that's very hard to pinpoint because I mix genres.
Okay.
So, for instance, the first series I wrote, the Bloodline series, it was supposed to be a romance, paranormal romance. I write only clean romance. So, although it's a lot of tension and you know exactly what's going on, I always close the door. That makes the books appropriate for 14 plus.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So teenagers could read them too. But then that was the first book in the series. And then books 2 and 3, I infused some science fiction in it because they jump 500 years into the future.
Oh, wow. So it's like a time travel?
No, no, it's just the passing of time. It follows a family of vampires.
Oh, okay. You have the books. The
Yes.
trilogy. Is it a trilogy?
Yes, it's the trilogy,
Let's see
the
the cover.
Bloodline trilogy. So,
Okay.
Bloodline Origins is the first
Okay.
one. This one is the present time. It starts with my protagonist, Anna, who really wants to become a vampire. And that's about her journey to becoming a vampire. She finds love, she gets married, and we find out that the vampires, the first vampires, were actually created by aliens. They came in 2,000 years ago.
Oh boy.
They were actually looking for a new home. Their own home planet was nearing extinction, and they were looking for a new home. And the vampires were actually an experiment to see if they could live on our planet.
Oh,
So
okay.
this book, when it ends, she has twins, Theodore and Theodora, and those are their books. Book 2 and 3. Book 2 is Theodore, and 3 is Theodora, and we get to meet them 500 years later. when they're adults and their prophecies come true. So,
Now, when were they published?
um, Bloodline Origins was published in April 2018.
Okay.
The next two they were published in 2019.
Okay.
And
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
then from 2020 to 2021, published another series.
Whoa.
6 books. I am a pretty fast writer, so when things are all lined up in my head, it takes me no time to write them.
Let's see if you can hold up one cover at a time of your six
Okay.
books. So we've got that's the prequel.
This is the prequel, the one that is the perma-free that I
Okay.
invited everyone to download. Is a really quick read. It's only like 32,000 words. I wrote it actually after I wrote the whole series.
That's what
So,
I do too. I
so
write
it
it
goes
down.
back a generation. So this one, it's kind of, it could stand alone. It answers some questions that might show up throughout the series. If you read it first, you will have questions about what happens to them in the future.
Right.
And those questions get answered in book 2, Charisse Taryn and the Black Pendant.
Okay.
Book 3, it's
Love the covers. The covers are fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Oren Tyler did my covers. Amazing designer. We actually been on the phone and discussed every cover. We hunted for pictures and made them to actually reflect the characters.
And they pop too. I love they pop. The colors pop and everything. They do stand out.
That's book number 3. Book number 4, which was the one that actually got this series started, is Adania Tebeteus and the Dark Mask.
Book 4 is the one that started the series.
Yes, because originally she was part of collection of twisted fairy tales. And this is a twist on Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
But my publisher loved so much the secondary characters in this book. She said, "You gotta write their books." Okay.
Okay.
Write their books. So I wrote another 6 books. Thane Tebeteus and the Chasing Dreams. Thane is Adania's brother.
Okay, and that's book 5.
This is book 5. And book 6 is Radux Harriet and the Lost Daughter. Is their cousin, Adania and Thane's cousin.
Now, is this the full series, or do you think there'll be more?
This is the full series, but in Radux's book at the very end, when the series it's closing, there are about 6 little kids running around. So if ever I want to continue it, I have go another generation.
You can keep going in the future. Do the grandkids and the great grandkids.
This can keep going forever, but only if it's gonna be in demand or something. Otherwise,
right. I do want to pause for just a little bit and say hello to our readers and thank them for being here. I'm talking this evening with Iuliana Foos. She's written a trilogy and a 6-book series. The series is called A Family Legacy, and the prequel is free to everyone that wants to download it on Kindle. Well, is it about Nook or just Kindle?
I don't know, on Amazon, whichever.
It's on Amazon. Okay, so it is free to anyone that wants to download it.
And
I'm sorry.
It's also free in wide.
Oh, it is free and wide, like Nook, if they have a Nook.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And she's going to go ahead and leave the link after the chat in the comments. So look for that after our chat. But let me say hello to a few people here. Virgie Lane is here, Cinda Anu, Janet Weisbird, Amanda Reynolds, Heather Skinner, Wendy Weissman, Lori Chasco. If you have any questions for Iuliana, I have to keep practicing her name. It's a beautiful name, by the way. Go ahead and leave them in the comments, and we'll take a little break to take some questions. When it comes to your books, the trilogy to begin with, Where do your ideas come from?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
But to be honest, this idea for the vampire, initially I only had in mind to write a one book, but again, publisher loved it. So can you write more in the series? Okay, I will. Um, I was about 16, 15, back home in Romania, and I went on a weekend trip and visited Dracula's castle.
Oh,
So, yeah, everybody gets excited when they hear.
yeah.
Actually, if I would go see it now, I would probably be very disappointed because it's just an old castle, old stone, kind of dark and dingy. I mean, they turn it into a museum, so they put electricity in, and
Oh, okay. Right. Modernized.
those little tiny windows where you have just a little tiny bit of light coming in, and I understand that's how they constructed things back in 14, 1300s. Um, and while I was there, I was thinking, if vampires would be real, how would they live here? And how would they even come to be? So that's how I came with the idea. Well, I really don't believe in, undead and, cursed souls and all that stuff. I go, nah, that's not good
That's
enough
not, yeah.
explanation for me. So I made them be made by aliens.
Oh, that makes sense. That's a good story. I like that. I do. So
I
how long have you been a writer?
How long? I think well, for me was a language barrier to actually write in English. I wrote to Romania some short little stories. Well, they weren't quite short, but not the size of a novel either. I started trying at about 25, 26, and then I stayed home for a couple of years for health reasons. And then everybody made fun of me. They said, "Well, you better get a real job, not be a writer. That's not gonna pay you the bills and all that." So I go, "Yeah, well, somehow they were right, to be
You
honest."
did know.
And I dropped it, but somewhere in the back of my mind was like, keep going and going and going. And in 2012, I believe, I started writing fan fiction
Hmm.
for Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's a game, computer game that I used to play,
Okay.
and that's how I started practicing my English writing. That's terrible writing. I mean, it was bad. I'll admit it. But that's how I learned. That's how I got comfortable with writing in a language that's not my first.
Yeah, that's quite a challenge because I could never write a book in Romanian. So hey, there's no way.
You don't have to write it in Romanian. Try to write a book in a language that you think you know best, other than your first
Well,
language.
French. French is the one I know best, French.
Could
And I
you write
still
a
could
book
not
in French?
write a book in French. I mean, when I was at school, I went to school in England, and we had pen pals that we would write to in France, and they would write to us in English. So I practiced my French by writing to them in French, and they would write to me in English, and that's how we would, But to write an entire book in French, no way.
So you can imagine all the challenges I had writing in English, because it's not just the writing; it's
It's not
about
an easy language.
it. I don't think it's hard either, but it doesn't have enough rules to follow. Like every single word has its own rule, which just threw me off. Like,
Right there, and there.
it's not a rule you apply to all verbs or to all words. Like every single word, it's doing its own thing. A
Do you
single
still
word.
find yourself struggling in some areas of the English language, even after what, 9 books?
No,
No,
no.
you got it down pat.
I got a better grasp on it. The only thing is with the past tenses, with when I use didn't or hadn't, or but I'm getting there.
I still have those problems, so
But other than that, I actually learned train my brain to think in English, because in other languages you have different syntax, you have different order of the words when you construct a sentence.
hmm yeah.
In English it's different, so you have to train your brain to think in that language in order to actually make sense and not speak like Yoda.
Got to program it. Do you speak Romanian, away from work and your books, your family? Do you speak, or is it
I only
now
speak
all English?
with my parents.
With you?
I speak with them once a week on Skype now. They're still in Canada, because after I immigrated in Canada, I sponsored them. They came to Canada, and then 2 years later, my sister and her husband immigrated to Canada.
Whole
So now
family can.
that we were all there for a few years. Then I divorced, remarried, and that's why I moved to the States. My husband's
Okay.
from the States, so I brought them all to Canada, and then I leave them there.
It's like my dad. I came out to the States from England to follow my dad. He stayed here for a while and then he took off and went back to Ireland. I'm like, well, thanks, Dad. You know,
So I
I
just
do.
took off.
I know. Yeah. But I go back to England whenever I can. I'm way overdue for another visit. Do you go back to Romania?
I only went back once a year after I immigrated,
Oh, so you haven't been back since.
but I haven't been back
There's probably
there.
no family there left.
8. No, no. There was, my parents, my sister, they're all in Toronto, so I don't have, maybe some distant family, but I don't even know if they're still alive.
Right.
I
That's
don't know. We never been a very neat, tight family, so everybody
okay.
was doing their own stuff.
How about Canada? Do you go back to Canada often?
I used to go every other summer to visit my parents and my friends that I made there, but since COVID, I haven't been there.
Yeah,
So
that's the thing.
they're over 3 years now since I haven't been to
Yeah,
see it.
my sister used to come every year from England, and she's coming again this year in September. But it's been 2 or 3 years since she last came because of COVID.
Yeah,
So,
the travel is still tricky. I don't know if I want to take a chance. I think I'm gonna wait another year before I go to Canada, unless they want to come visit me. They haven't come to US
there
yet.
you go. It's their turn. It's their turn. Okay, back to your books. Um, when you write your books, do you plot them, or do you just kind of have an idea in your head and just sit down and let it take its course? In other words, are you a panster or a plotter?
It's a combination. I always know where my book starts. I
Mm-hmm.
know the main plot, and I know where it ends. Everything else comes while I'm writing it.
Okay, okay. And does the ending ever change? Or
No,
you no,
no.
it
Because I'm
always
writing a romance, it's always happy endings. So I'm a sucker for happy endings. I don't know why. I, I, I wanted so many times to go, okay, let's kill one at the end. I
you
just,
can't do it, huh? You just can't. Imagine what readers would think if you killed somebody else. Does your husband read your books?
pardon me?
Does your husband read your books?
No, he's doing a lot of reading for work, so he doesn't do any reading for pleasure. He's just doing a lot of reading and keep up and
Researching and
learning
stuff.
and tests for work at all times. Like twice a year or something, he still has to take some tests all the time.
Oh wow. Okay. And when you're writing a book, how long does it? You said you write pretty fast. Like, say, for example, the six-book series, the Family Legacy series. There's
Yeah.
6 books in the series. When did you first start it? I understand it was book 4, but when did you first start it?
So that one I started in March 2020.
2020, 2 years ago.
Right.
And
It
so,
got published in June or July 2020. And that's when my publisher said, okay, I really want to know the stories of all these other people in the book. So how about a series? Okay. She goes, let's try a rapid release and do them every 2 months. I go, oh my God, I didn't even
Wow.
write them yet. So the next one came out in December 2020. The next one came out in February 2021. Then April 2021, June 2021.
You must have been going crazy.
Pretty much. And within that period of time, I moved twice. Once from San Antonio to Florida, where we rented at first, and then 6 months later, the renting contract was expiring, and we couldn't find anything to rent here, so we had to actually buy a house. So we moved
My
multiple
Lord.
times.
And
We
like
like
6
within
books.
a year.
And how many words are these books?
Um, so other than the first one that, like I said, she's only about 32,000, the rest are 45 to 50,000 words.
That's a good sized book. And so when you sit down and write, do you set yourself a goal for that day? Do you have some kind of disciplining method to get those words down?
No, I just know I have to get them down, and I put down as many as I can, as many as they come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
I usually write in the mornings when my husband's at work, and it's nice and quiet and nobody bothers me except the construction workers. So the craziness that's here, it's a brand new community, so they're still building. So
Okay.
it's noise outside, but you know. And I write as much as I can for that day. And then in the evening times, I'm usually plotting already the next day chapter or chapters or the next few scenes in my head.
Wow. So then you've
The
got
next
the
day
first.
I wake up, writing again.
Wow. So when the first draft is done, you have the bones of the story.
That's
And you
about
do it.
3 weeks.
You're doing a rapid. I'm sorry. What was that?
That usually takes me about 3 weeks for that
Be the
size.
first, and then how long do you spend going through the first draft before you send it out to the editor?
About another week, week and a half, then I send it to my publisher that she's doing the edits and stuff and sends it back to me, apply those edits, send back to her. Then we do one more read through. Then I get the galley. I read that. That I usually send it to at least two other people to have, fresh eyes on it because you kind of get blind to your own work and don't see stuff. And then usually a week before lunch, it's ready.
Wow. And okay, so once it's booking out or it's ready to come out, do you kind of take a little downtime before you start the next book in that series?
I don't really take a downtime with those that they came out every 2 months. I was like finishing one, starting the next one while waiting for the edits and so on. So it was a crazy year. It went like a chain writing books.
The series is doing good. How's the series doing? Good?
I wish you would do better. It's doing all right.
Okay,
Uh,
that's good. That's good. As long as you're selling books, that's what matters.
what I love about it is the fact that people that actually read it love it.
There you
I
go.
only had like one or two um, ratings, not even reviews in words, ratings like 2 stars, and I'm assuming those are from men because the books are categorized as science fiction space opera. So they probably expected a lot of sciency in it,
Mhm.
and there's no sciency.
There's also a lot of trolls that would just go around and give 1, 2 stars and not even read the book.
I heard about it, but I don't think I'm that famous or that big name to
Yeah.
to have any trolls after me. I'm pretty much a nobody.
It's
I
just a
don't
vicious thing that I've seen and I've heard about, and it's just a vicious thing that happens for authors, sadly. But they
yeah,
don't even read the book, and they'll leave 1 or 2 stars, and it's
some
sad
of
that
them.
they would do that because we all know what goes into writing a book. We put our heart and souls into it, and it's what we do to make a living.
When you hear things like that, it makes you wonder, why do they do it? I mean, what do they gain from it?
I don't know, maybe just spite because you get the hackers the people that hack, you get the people that scam you on phone calls. It's just, some bad people out there.
And what do they get from it? Because they don't get anything from it.
No, they don't.
If they would gain anything, I would say, okay, well, they do it for that or for that reason,
Mm-hmm.
But they're not gaining anything from it.
No.
When someone down,
unless it's just something they get, the kicks out of. Who knows? Who knows? But I do want to read the description from the prequel, and then I'm going to take some questions from our wonderful readers that are joining us. I do see a couple of Facebook users. The reason I'm not seeing your name is because I'm guessing you are in my group, which is a private group, and you need to give StreamYard permission for me to see your name, and that is right above the video. There should be a blue link. If you're on the author page, you do not need permission, and if you're on YouTube, you don't need permission. It's just in the group because it's private. But do you have that cover one more time for the prequel? And yes. I will go ahead and read the description from that if my phone will cooperate.
Some reflection on it.
There it is. It's called I had it. Iuliana Foos and the Legacy Mark, which is the prequel to the Family Legacy series. It is free on Kindle and wide, like in Nook or I guess Google. And she will, Iuliana will leave the, sorry, I'm trying to find where I had it. Here it is.
I'll post the link after we're done.
Yeah, after the chat. Okay, so this is description on Amazon. Happiness is a rare commodity in the middle of a centuries-long war dividing the galaxy. Born and raised in times of war, Iuliana Foos refuses to settle for being a powerful sorceress. She craves recognition, the Dark Lady title, and she stops at nothing to reach her goal. But she needs a mentor to guide and train her further for the gruesome trials and everyday life ahead. Tyron, thank you. Tyron Tebet is the youngest Dark Lord ever to leave the Defense Circle. He is hated as much as he is feared, not only by the enemy, but by his own people too. When another attempt of his life takes place, an unexpected ally, a young up-and-coming sorceress, changes his life forever. And my phone just messed up. Hold on. Sorry. Overtaken by their feelings for each other, Iuliana and Tyron. Why does that keep messing with me? Iuliana and Tyron fight together, keeping one another alive despite the never-ending threat pouring from all directions. Can they defeat fate and build a life together? My phone froze. What's the last part?
Or will the mark she carries bring destruction to reign over them, turning their dreams into ashes?
Thank you. My screen just froze. I couldn't scroll down. It sounds really good.
You read that she's marked.
She's marked?
But yeah, she carries a mark, a certain mark.
Wow.
That mark, it goes to the whole family. So everybody in her family will have that mark or carry the genes of it. They're actually,
Now, as the series unfolds, are the same characters in all the books, along with new ones?
Each book has a different couple as the main characters, and then they reappear in the subsequent books as supportive characters, secondary characters. So, like I said, this is the first generation, so she would be the grandmother. Okay.
Okay, got it.
The book 2 and 3 are the second generation.
Okay.
And then book 4, 5, and 6 are the third generation. The twin brother, sister, and their cousin.
Okay.
So they're all one big family.
One big happy family. Okay, I'm going to take some questions. I'll put them up on the screen for you. I'm sorry, what was that?
The happiness comes, but they really work for it.
Well, yep. Okay, let's take some questions. I'll put them up on the screen. This one's from Renee. It was here. Hold on. Sorry, Renee. Here it is. What was the hardest culture shock you had when you first immigrated?
You're going to think it's silly, but I was lost in a grocery store. I grew up, so I was born in 1968, full communism era. So food was kind of scarce. We didn't really choose what we eat. We just ate whatever it was. So when I came to Canada and I saw, 20 types of bread and 5 kinds of butter and
You're just not used to seeing it.
10 different types of milk, I just stopped in the middle of the store and start crying because I didn't know
Oh,
what to buy. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know.
you weren't used to choices.
I wasn't used to, I didn't know what they were, first of all, because it was organic and non-organic and salted and non-salted and grains and no grains, and I was lost. I go, what do I want? What have I used to eat back home that I can replace it with here? So
Wow.
that was a big shock. And then was the fashion. I have to say this, in Europe, you don't even go to throw the garbage out without getting dressed and putting makeup on, or at least that's how it was at that time. So coming here and seeing everybody in jeans and flip flops, for me that was a shock.
That was a shock, the casual wear.
But I like that one because I kind of adopted to it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. For me, it was driving. Because in England, we drive on the other side of the road. Even though I didn't drive in England, I was a passenger in a car. But then when I went back to England, to rent and rented a car, I was totally lost because it's on
When
the totally other side of the road.
I went to visit Romania, we stopped in England. That's how the flight was in London, and we switched airports from Heathrow to, I forgot the name of the other one. There were two airports,
Oh,
and
Gatwick
from
and Heathrow.
there were two airports,
Yeah.
and one we came with a plane from Toronto to London, and then we had to change planes. We had like 7 or 8 hours layover, and then take the from there London to Bucharest for another 3 hours flight. And it was like an hour and a half between the airports to drive us the bus. And when I saw that the other side, I was,
Yeah.
oh my God, we're gonna crash. Look at that guy.
It's totally confusing. It is. And I had a stick shift in England, but in England, an English car, you change it with this hand, my left hand. And it was just threw me completely. Just threw me off. Here's a nice comment from Katie. She says, "Love your descriptive covers. Impressed with the small amount of time you get your stories out." I'm impressed too. Are you currently working on something right now?
If you think I got this one fast, yeah, I'm like working on a brand new series, Star Class,
Uh-huh.
a planned series for another 6 books, I'm thinking. I
Nice.
already 4.5, no, 5, and a little bit written from them. So in between all this, I got 5 more books.
Good Lord. And they're gonna be rapid release too?
No, no, those ones still be, they got over 80,000 words books, and
Okay.
they're more
Okay.
complicated.
They and
Those I want to actually get an agent
there you
and
go.
try to get into a bigger publishing house.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed, we'll see. I have to start revisions. They're all in first drafts,
Okay.
uh, and they're completely out there. I'm making up worlds as I go. We have a purple world where they have no chlorophyll. So all the vegetation, instead of being green, because that's what makes everything green, chlorophyll,
Mm-hmm.
everything is purple.
Oh wow.
It's purple, the trees are purple, everything, and they're all shifters. They shift into these huge, um, like sabers, the ones that they were with the mammoths,
Mm-hmm.
with the long teeth. So that's what they are, and their energy feeds some crystals that they use for ships and everything. Then is another world that's frozen, and it's so cold they cannot live on the surface of the planet. They build cities on suspended islands around the planet, and they rotate to give them the day and night cycle because the planet, it's stuck, doesn't move. So for them to get day and night cycle, their cities rotate around the planet.
Where do these ideas for these books come from?
I always had really weird dreams, really weird ideas. I remember I was in elementary school and we had all these mandatory literature that we had to read for school. And I was always so unhappy with those books. And I was going in my mind and changing them, change the character's name because I didn't like them, or change something they did, make them do something else, like make my own. I think I was doing some mental fan fiction.
Making your own world. Making your own world.
Yeah, I was very unhappy with those books, so I was changing them to my liking.
You started your own.
I
So
always had those ideas, so I don't know exactly to tell you where they're coming from.
they just came.
Oh,
So the series you're working on now, it sounds like it's the same kind of genres with
yes,
romance and
fiction romance. All my characters are human or humanoids. I mean,
mhm.
they have blue skin or green skin or pointed ears or, but they're still like
Are they
humans.
based on anyone you know? Like someone that you know in your life? Any of your characters based?
I don't know anybody with blue skin.
No, but I mean like the personality or traits.
Yes, so
Yeah,
usually the antagonists.
yeah.
People they really piss me off. I put them.
You put them in there. I wonder if they read the book and recognize himself.
Some they might. I usually play with their names too. So
Hmm.
they're close but not quite.
Drop a letter or add a letter, something like that.
More complicated than that. That would
Oh,
be
there
too.
you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of character, here's a question for you. Oh, well, here it is. Do you base your character on the people you know? Or do you protect their innocence?
I protect the innocent,
Do you
but
protect their innocence?
the, the ones
Do
who
you,
really hurt me or they're being being treated unfairly by, or people that impact me in a negative way in my life, yes, they go in the book,
they
including
go
my
in the book.
ex-husband. He's in one of those books. So
Oh,
congratulations.
don't piss off the writer. You might end up in one of the books. Lori wants to know if you have any brothers or sisters.
I do have a younger sister. She's 9 years younger than me, and she's beautiful. At some
Oh,
point when she was about 17, she tried to get into modeling. She did all the headshots and all that stuff, and she was starting to get calls. And then when she got offered a job, the guy told her, "Well, the price to get in is you sleep with me," and she said, "No, thank you." And that was the end of her modeling career. So now she's a cop.
now she can go busting.
Well, no, that was happening in Romania. Now she's in
Okay.
Toronto and she's a cop in Toronto.
Oh, wow. And Vicky wants to know, what did you do before you started writing?
I did quite a few jobs. So as soon as I finished high school, I worked as my first job was painting decorative wooden objects, like, little scenes and painting.
Oh, okay.
Painting for about a year. I worked in a factory. I worked in the office. When I came to Canada, I worked as a floral designer for about a year in a flower shop.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went into sales and marketing, and I did that for about 13 years and hated every minute of it. But I had bills to pay, and I was a pretty good salesperson, I guess, because we are paid commission. So I made a decent living from that. But as my second job, I was still helping florists and designers to do big parties, weddings, bar mitzvahs, um, engagement parties.
Wow.
I've made a lot of centerpieces, bridal bouquets, boutonnieres and corsages galore. So yeah, I did all that stuff.
And now I'm assuming with the amount of books you've written that writing is your full-time job now.
Yes, I stay home and I'm writing pretty much all the time. And when I'm not writing, I'm thinking about
You're thinking about
something.
writing.
I'm plotting something, or I'm editing something, or and starting last week, I'm trying to learn how to write scripts. I would like to turn those books into movie scripts and maybe try my luck that way. I
Wow.
don't know, but I would like to learn that. So I'm taking a shot at that too.
Well, I wish you the best with that one because it's a totally different form of writing when you turn it into a script.
Yeah, it's the opposite of a novel. You know how in the novel they
Yeah.
say show don't tell. Well, in the script is tell don't
Tell
show.
the show, yeah, it's complete. It goes against all of what we don't want to do in a book.
So it's kind of a rebelling attitude, but somewhat
So, if
I
I
like it.
mean, you're saying you're learning the script, but you're not actually writing one of your books in script yet. You're just learning the method.
No, I've always learned by doing. Even
Okay.
when I've learned how to speak English, I've learned it, going to the grocery store, going to work, going on the street. I learn as I go.
That's the best way.
So
That's
I started with Quran.
exciting. Well, keep us posted on that one.
I'm working on the pilot, the teaser, how it's called, the
The
first
pilot,
one.
yeah, the
So
teaser. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I wouldn't. So,
I got a
congratulations.
page and a half
That's
written.
quite a challenge, huh?
I got 1 page and a half written,
It's
but
more than I'd ever get done. Okay, Darlene has a question for you. Do you read the same genre that you write?
I I wish I could read more, but time wise, I really don't have time to read for pleasure. I do read whatever, however, I have a lot of author friends,
Hmm.
so we switch manuscripts, we critique and edit each other before we send it to a
Well,
publisher.
that's good. You get positive feedback. Or
So we getting feedback. Well, I always tell them, don't tell me you like it. Don't tell me
be
you
honest. You want the
tell
brutal
me what
truth,
you don't like about it so I can fix it.
right?
I do the same for them. So I read a lot of unpublished books. And yes, we tend to stay more or less into the fantasy, urban fantasy, paranormal side of things. I would never ever pick up a horror book, or I cannot even watch a commercial on TV about a horror movie
I don't
without.
do horror either.
So that for me is a big no-no.
Yeah, I'm not a fond of horror.
And everything I see, I it just sticks with me. Even when I write the books,
Hmm.
they first happening in my head. So it's like a movie rolling in my head, and I just gotta put it in words on paper.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why I thought that maybe writing scripts would be good for me because I'm seeing it that way anyways.
And
So
just write it down on the paper what you're seeing.
yeah,
Next scene, scene one, scene two. Yeah, I've looked at scripts, and this I wouldn't know how to translate my books into a script. I'd have to find somebody.
actually, it's not that hard to learn. It's challenging, but hey, I had bigger challenges than that.
Are your books on audio?
The first one should come out. Karana's book should come out the end of this month,
Oh,
sometime.
good.
Of next
Okay.
month. It's gonna be my first audio that's coming out. I'm very excited about it.
Did you do the voice?
Me with my accent,
You
no
never
way.
know. I understand you perfectly. I'm sure our readers do too. You have very good English. You
No.
do.
And actually, we picked a male narrator, but he's got a beautiful voice, and I cannot wait to hear it.
And you're going to do the whole series in audio, probably.
He's gonna do the whole series.
Now,
And
do you know? I mean, it's probably too early, but do you think you'll use the same narrator? for the whole series?
Yes, my publisher contracted for the whole series.
Oh, great.
All series, all narrated by him. And I think it's going to take about a year to get it out, all of it. So it's going to be the one at the end of April, another one sometime in August, another one in October, and the next three at the beginning of next year.
Wow.
So, yes, I cannot wait.
Yes, exciting.
A lot of fun actually picking a narrator because you get, you put it on ICX and people start auditioning for it.
Yeah, I'm in the process of doing that for my Tammy Mellows trilogy, book 1.
Listening for those auditions.
Yeah, and I'm going through the voices, and I still haven't found the. My dilemma is that I want it to be Tammy Mellows is the trilogy, and Tammy, the main character, is English. She was born in England. She moves to the States, but I wanted to have that British accent, but not thick. I want it to be, halfway American, halfway English, kind of like me, because it's based on my life. But so I'm kind of finding someone with that kind of voice. And so
why don't you do it? Why don't you?
People ask me that, and I'm like, no, I couldn't do it. Number one, I don't have the equipment. You need, the soundproof room. You need the soundproof microphone to edit it. I wouldn't know where to begin, and then also time is an issue. I don't have time to sit there for hours reading my books. I just can't do it. I can't. And none of that. I don't know. Just hearing myself just sounds kind of weird. I don't know. So, but I'm still looking. I'm still looking.
Myself either.
Huh?
I don't like hearing myself either.
I don't. I've gone through about 25.
Plays me back the message, and I can hear myself. I go, oh.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way. So I'll just keep searching. It'll happen. I'll find the right one. I had a question for. Oh, here it is from Kim. She wanted to ask, what was your favorite childhood book?
Well, considering I grew up in Romania, I had completely different books than what you guys been reading in the States. First of all, in the communist times, we weren't allowed to read any, everything was heavily censored. And we couldn't read any other authors but Romanian authors. So it was a series, the cherry tree. It would translate the cherry tree. It's a group of kids, like teenagers, and they all live on the same street that's called Cherry Tree Street.
Okay.
And refer to them as the cherries. It doesn't translate right. I have them. I actually brought it with me from Romania when I immigrated. That's how much I loved it. I have the series, yes.
That's great.
When you immigrate, you're allowed to have 2 travel bags per person, 40 kilos or 80 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's the maximum weight. So you actually pack your life into 2 bags.
Yeah, I did that when I left England. Yeah.
And I took those books with me and the notebooks that I wrote by hand when I had my first attempt at writing when I was in my early 20s. So for me, that was more important than other stuff that I left behind. But I wanted to have those, and I have them.
That's fantastic. What treasures. What treasures.
They look worn and they look pretty beaten up. Let me grab them.
Go ahead. Oh, wow.
So
look
how beaten up they are. They're very old. So I bought them when I was about, I don't know, 10, 11 maybe. My mom bought them for me. So considering I'm 54 in 3 months, they're quite old.
What a treasures. And you'll never, ever part with them. You never will.
No.
I love the story and that they've traveled with you all this way.
Like the ink started to come off on the pages.
Oh, wow.
They're
not. And what I like too is they're not hidden in a box somewhere. You actually have them out in your office and see them every day.
Yes. Yeah. And they always make me smile.
Oh, I love that. What a lovely story.
I love them.
I love that. For writers that are starting out, you've been writing now for how many years again? I'm sorry.
Officially or unofficially?
Officially.
Okay, officially. So the first book published in 2018.
Okay, so 4 years you've done 9 books, which is brilliant.
9 books.
What advice can you give to someone that's just starting out, that wants to be where you are in 4, 5, 6, 7 years? What advice can you give to an aspiring writer?
Don't give up. If I could do it, anybody else can do it. Think about it. I'm writing in a language that's not my first. That's already 10 times the challenges any English speaking author has, because you have to write in a different in a different language.
Mm-hmm.
So keep dreaming and don't give up. Keep going. Keep going. It took me 30 years to
Yeah, well, look at you now, and it's your full-time work.
my dream, but I got it. I got it. It took me a little longer, but got it.
That's brilliant. That's fantastic. Congratulations, because you've come a long way. You have come a long way. So congratulations. And I saw another question for you. That's okay. I couldn't find it. The genres that you write now, is there an author? I know you do mixed genres, but is there an author that inspires you or you admire that writes kind of in the same genres that you write? That you
Well, when
look
I was a teenager, I read Isaac Asimov, who wrote science fiction.
and I met him.
You did?
Yes, I did. I told the readers this last week, but my father was a science fiction writer, so
I'm
I
so
used to go to conventions with him. And Isaac Asimov is one of the people that I met. So
like, to me, he's the grandfather of science
he
fiction.
is, he is, he is.
To me, then I loved Anne Rice
I love Anne Rice. Mm-hmm.
for the vampire. So when I mix them like that, it's very hard to stay in one genre. My mind doesn't work that way. I'm
Right, you have to cross. And,
the person that, when I was a kid and they told you color between the lines, I would go outside the line just to see what's out there. I have an inquiring mind. I cannot sit in one place. I tried to write, actually, the first book I ever wrote, complete book, before I wrote The Bloodline Origins, was an attempt to write contemporary romance. And I failed miserably. Um, I can't. I feel so constricted and so limited, but by our society, the way it is, what humans, mere humans, we can
what what
life.
we can't do.
So yeah, I will go to my my characters that are in all the Family Legacy series. They're all energy users. So think Star Wars, that they use the Force,
Right.
are using the energies. So they're energy users. So they lift things, they do things. The vampires, they read minds, they have all kinds of supernatural
All
powers.
these powers that we humans don't have.
Exactly. I need that. I need that because I need my characters to do crazy stuff, and I like to build their own worlds. Again, Earth, we all know. If I want reality, I open the front door and I'm right there. Click off the computer and you're in real life. But I do believe that when I write, I have to escape reality. And the
That makes a lot of sense. I like that.
the better I
Do you
feel.
have one of the readers asked this? I'm not sure where it is, but do you have a favorite character from your books?
Male or female.
You pick. You let us know.
Okay, well, this is like you asking me to pick a favorite child.
Exactly. I mean,
Um, every single female character that I write has something from me. I put something in there. It's
okay.
either what I wish I would have been, or what I wish I could do. Um, some of them have similar experience to what I had. Um, Anna in Bloodline Origins, it's probably the first female character that she got most of me with from the past. Um, they like chocolate like I do. They drink coffee like I do. They like sunsets like I do. You know,
Okay.
I put a little bit of me in every single one of them. So I don't know if I could pick a favorite, but if I have to,
Have to.
it would be Kalina.
Oh, okay.
Think of her as a female version of Han Solo from Star Wars.
Who?
So she's a smuggler.
Oh, from Star Wars.
So
Okay. That's
she's a
cool.
smuggler. So she's the female version of Han Solo.
Oh, I like that.
Amped up and all on steroids. She's crazy.
I like that. Oh, wow.
She would be my favorite. As far as male characters go, I make them all very good looking. I have a thing for blue eyes or green eyes, or you won't find, I don't think I have any male character in any of these books with brown eyes. So I make them all very good looking, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, fantasy men.
Exactly.
Yeah, fantasy men.
I don't want the real guy with like, average guy.
That's nice. Yeah.
It's gonna knock your socks out. But as far as cover goes, I think Radux is my pick.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect.
And he does have blue eyes, even if you cannot see it.
Well, this has been a wonderful chat. It's been going on. It's gone by really quick, but I do want to talk about the giveaway before we sign off. And I'm going to hand it over to you to let our readers know what you're going to be giving away.
I'll be giving away a signed paperback, your choice, any of the books from the Family Legacy series.
Nice.
If you already read one or two or more, check the descriptions on Amazon. You let me know which one you would like, and I'll get it to you, and I'll sneak in some swag too.
Oh, that's very generous of you. And don't forget, you're also going to be dropping the link for the free prequel.
Yes.
So if you're the winner and you haven't read any of the books yet, be sure to grab the prequel, which is free, and then let Iuliana know which book you would like. And this is a giveaway for our live readers that are watching us tonight. So you're all enjoying, those of you that are here. Don't worry that I don't see your name. It's going to appear once the live stops. Your name just pops up. So don't worry about that. And I will be doing my regular giveaway, which is the $5 Amazon gift card. I think most of you know how to get entered into that. You need to go to my author page and share this video to your favorite groups, your homepage, wherever you want to share it. But be sure to tag me on your share so that way I can enter you in the drawing. And I will tag you, Liana, when I announce the winner. And I'll announce the winner in the group and on my author page. And then I'll have them just reach out to you and let them know what they've won. How's that sound?
That's perfect.
Okay, I'll give you a
mailing address and all that stuff.
There you go. Well, I'll give you a little minute now just to say goodnight to everybody, and then we're going to sign off.
It was such a fun time. Thank you for having me so much, Tina. And thanks everybody who's been here asking questions. If you want to keep asking questions, you can keep asking the questions on the thread we have in your group. And I promise I'll check and I'll answer in writing. But thank you all for being here, and I hope I'll see you soon.
I hope so too. Keep us posted on what books you're writing, and I'd love to have you back. And all you wonderful readers that come and join us every other Monday, I appreciate every single one of you. And I'll talk to you soon. So, great. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks.
Bye. Good night, everybody.